agenda is the oath of office, the oath for the officers for the new members. So Jerry, as clerk, can you lead that?
Okay. We have to rise.
What are we doing? You can rise.
You can.
Must. Shall we?
Yes.
Mark? One at a time?
We're gonna do it
You can
together.
do
Both. Okay.
Don't I get to decide that?
Sorry, just assisting. I'm new
We can
here.
do it together. I'll allow it. I state your name.
I, Blair Jameson,
Affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
affirm that I will support
the Constitution
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the
and the
Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of the office of school board member
of the office of school board member
of the office of school board member
of the Grafton School District to the best of my ability.
of the Grafton School District to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Great to have you both back. All right, this is our first board meeting back of the new election period, so this will be our organizational meeting as well. So we will go through and select officer positions. The process will be the same as we have done in the past. So that will be, we will look for a nomination for the position. We will have a second for the nomination. Then we will make a motion to close the nominations. There will be a second to close the nominations, and then we will vote on closing the nominations, and then we will vote on that position. So we will do that for the 4 positions. So first, I would look for a motion for board president.
I would like to nominate Steve Nada as school board president.
I will second that nomination.
I move that nominations be closed.
I second.
All right, we have a first and a second to close nominations for board president. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. And I would accept that position, so we will then vote for Steve Nauta for board president. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. Thank you. Next, we will look for a motion for vice president. I would nominate Carrie Walls for vice president.
Second.
I move that nominations be closed.
Second.
Second. All right, motion to close nominations. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes.
I would accept the position.
Excellent. And then we vote for Carrie Walls to be vice president. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. Thank you. Board clerk. I would make a motion to nominate Jerry Rossi for board clerk.
Second.
Move to
I would
close.
accept.
Move to close.
We have a first to close nominations. Second. All in favor, say aye to close nominations. Aye. Opposed? That passes.
I would accept.
Jerry accepts. Thank you. All in favor for Jerry Rossi for board clerk, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes. Next, board treasurer nominations.
I'd like to nominate Mark Kaler for treasurer.
Second.
Move to close.
Second.
All in favor for closing nominations, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes.
I accept.
With that, all in favor of Mark Kaler for board treasurer, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that passes as well. So thank you very much for all of that. We have our officers for the next cycle. A couple of appointments. So CISA 1 representative, Sean, you have been that representative. Would you continue to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so we will have Sean continue to be the CISA 1 representative. WASB delegate.
Yeah.
Carrie has been that and has said that she will do that again. And then SWSA representative, Bob, you have filled that role. Would you do that again?
Yes.
Great. So we have our appointments filled as well. So that takes us to board meeting schedule for the 25-26 year.
Yes, I have a memo. A couple years ago, we started doing this where we looked at the overall calendar for the year. So typically, currently the board holds its regular meeting on the fourth Monday of each month, and the second Monday is reserved for board committee meetings. I'm looking ahead for the 25-26 school year. There are conflicts with the fourth Monday in December. December 22nd is during the district's winter break, and in May 25th is Memorial Day. So we are recommending the continuation of the board calendar of the fourth Monday and the second Monday, but changing the December 2025 regular meeting to December 15th and moving the May 2026 regular meeting to May 18th.
All right, so this gives us a little bit of advance notice of what our calendar will look like as we know that. So with that said, any questions on the calendar as presented in our meeting times? All right, with that, I would look for a motion to approve the 25-26 meeting board calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and we have our calendar. Last thing would be committee membership, as we've done in the past. We'll take the next, between now and our next meeting. If anyone has any thoughts or suggestions on the committees that they're in or different committees that they'd like to be a part of, just contact me and then we will make our calendar or make our committees firm next meeting. So any questions with that? Okay, great. So between now and the next one, if there is any upcoming meetings, everybody that's on their committee can just stay on their committee. Okay. All right, that takes us to the consent agenda. So are we looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the March 17th board meeting as well as a statement of receipts from March 2025?
After getting some clarification from Topher on some of the bills and whatnot, I would make a motion to approve the minutes and the statement of receipts and expenditures.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and those are approved. Superintendent's report.
Yes, on behalf of our entire district, we want to thank Blair and Mark for their commitment to continue being board members, and congratulations on being elected. We're excited to continue working with you and appreciate you being willing to work with us. And I'm excited for the third year in a row, our district has been named a top workplace by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel Top Workplaces. Dr. Gunderson and I had the honor of attending the ceremony, and on behalf of the district, they actually had a quote that they shared, and Kara has this. So Dr. Gunderson and I were able to be there, and there were two quotes that they shared when they were sharing how they set up the award and the survey results and everything else. And one of the quotes that they shared out of all the survey responses was one from our district, where a teacher or a staff member, I don't know who it was, said, "I love my job because I feel that my professional experiences are valued. I truly feel honored to be a member of a team that strives for success on all levels and encourages individuality." So great that a staff member felt that strongly, wrote that, and that when they were going through these survey results, that they had picked that out to be one that they shared with all the companies that were there. And then secondly, we had, at the table we were at was Kapoor and Associates, and we had Julie Cron, a 2019 GHS graduate, sitting at our table. And so we said hello, and then she was talking about Mr. Brogelman and her experiences with cross country and running and being in school and just how it impacted her throughout her time. You know, Dr. Gunderson, being Dr. Gunderson, immediately found her Kennedy picture, her fifth grade picture, I believe. Yep. So he had that, and he showed that to me. But it was great to have one of our graduates working for a company that's a top workplace, and to hear her say how our district helped prepare her to be successful in what she's doing and so forth. So it was great to represent the district, but also great to be recognized with a quote, but then to also have one of our graduates there. So congratulations to all of our staff and to our board for creating an environment for staff to feel appreciated and appreciate working here. I've asked Mr. Manti to come up and talk about these next four pieces because they're related to some of the things that have occurred at the high school recently, which is super exciting.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I have some exciting celebrations to share with you directly from our career and technical student organizations with recent competitions that have taken place. So start with Skills USA. Congratulations to GHS seniors Ethan Alexander and Josh Stowski, who were first place finishers at the State Skills USA Championship. So 2 state champions. Ethan competing in maintenance and light repair, and Josh competing in automotive service technology, advanced to the national championship, which will be held in Atlanta in June. Hunter Girock was also a finalist in the competition, and he took 3rd place in the diesel equipment technology division. So lots of great celebration from our automotive students, which you have come to expect, and kind of continuing that level of excellence with our Skills USA. Now let's move on to FBLA, our Future Business Leaders of America. Congrats to GHS students Megan Roulette and Sachi Mikami, who are finalists in the FBLA State Leadership Competition. Megan competed in the Introduction to Business Communication, and Sachi competed in Social Media Strategies. They advanced to the National Leadership Competition, which will be held in Anaheim in July. Other FBLA members who finished in the top 10 at state were Maya Fredrickson, Luke Hansen, Andy Hardis, Jacob Nessler, Michael Pan, and Tanner Pop. So congratulations to all of our FBLA members who placed at the state competition. Next, let's move on to HOSA, which is our Health Occupations student organization. Congrats to the following students who were top 5 finishers at the HOSA State Leadership Conference. Similar name, Tanvi Hardis, 2nd place, Clinical Laboratory Science. Amelia Lundberg, 2nd place, Clinical Laboratory Science, and the winner of the Barbara James Service Award. Alani Wallace, 3rd place in Pathophysiology. And Shuna Chiduri, 5th place, Organizational Leadership. So congrats to all of our students in our Health Occupations organization. And last but not least, we'll talk about forensics. Congrats to the following GHS students for their medal-winning performances at the forensics state competition. Sachi Mikami has gold impromptu perfect score. Hailey Luft, gold impromptu perfect score. And Libby Coleman, silver oratory. Congratulations to all of our forensics students as well. So our CTSO and forensics, lots of wonderful accomplishments to celebrate with the board. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manti. And then newly elected State Senator Jody Havish-Seneca visited with us on April 7th. Steve and Mark and Topher, Amanda, Julie, and I were able to meet with her and her chief of staff and share the great things occurring in our district. She wanted to understand how her decisions impact our district, how our state decisions impacting us. We talked through various pieces like school funding, special ed funding, Act 20, and other topics that we covered with her and enjoyed getting to know her. Appreciated her being willing to meet with us. And then we have our Athletic Hall of Fame, and I've asked Mr. Moore to come up and talk about the Hall of Fame that's coming up on May 2nd.
Yeah, good evening. Always one of my favorite days of the year is our induction of the 5th class of the Grafton Athletic Hall of Fame. So this year we are welcoming 4 individuals, and we represent a really great time span in terms of years graduated. So we have Sarah Grange, Mike Lemerod, Sadie Nenning, and Jim Stewart inducted this year, all great individuals and accomplished a ton. Sarah Grange was class of 2013. She holds the bulk of our sprint records still here at GHS in terms of track and field. Was also a captain of the tennis team, was recruited to UW-Madison as a heptathlete. Mike Lemerod, in a class of 78, was another multi-sport star, football, basketball, and track and field, and wound up having a successful football career at the University of Michigan and spent a training camp in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs. Sadie Nenning, class of 2010, one of our outstanding swimmers in GHS history, multi-state champion, captain state champion teams, and then also went on to a successful career at Emory University in Atlanta, and also has now since earned her PhD. And then also Jim Stewart, who many of you may know, still in the community, still part of our wrestling coaching staff, class of 1994, state qualifier and place winner his senior year, as well as a very successful college career at Concordia University, where he was a national qualifier. So we're going to do this in the GHS Commons on Friday at 5 o'clock. We have a ceremony, a plaque unveiling, and then also a dinner for our inductees and their traveling parties. We're super excited about it, as we always are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. And also wanted to let the board and our community know that Teacher Appreciation Week is May 5th through 9th. So all staff, the teachers and all staff will be recognized and thanked throughout the week. We'll be providing a lunch from the district, and then we've coordinated that with our principals as they work with their PTGs and some of the special celebrations they do throughout the week. I know the Music Boosters have partnered with some of the other parent groups as well to try and get everyone a caramel apple during that week, and parents are able to recognize a staff member by doing that. So exciting opportunity for us to be able to recognize our staff during that week. And then thank you to the Grafton Education Foundation for supporting our educational programs by awarding teachers with $59,310 in grants this year. At their night of giving, we had a great opportunity to hear about some of those grants. There's an audio system at Kennedy, flexible seating at Woodview, enhancements to the Woodview Library, the JLMS sensory room, an Enzyme science lab tools, science lab equipment, a welding machine, a jazz drum set, and a pottery wheel for GHS. So amazing to see the work that they do and all their efforts to provide grants and incentives for our staff. And then also that night, we were able to recognize their Golden Apple Award winners. So Ann Galke, third grade teacher at Woodview, Michelle Fritchell, special education teacher at Woodview, Molly Brocktrup, second grade teacher at Woodview, and Robin Morgan, the technology and STEM teacher at John Lung Middle School, were all recognized as Golden Apple winners, all very deserving, and we're proud of them and thankful for all their work. With that, I'll turn it over to Topher for a construction update.
Yeah, so excited to bring you the monthly update on our referendum construction project over at John Long Middle School. So just to update you on some work that was completed over spring break with the students and teachers off. They were able to get inside and tackle some projects ahead of this summer. So removing the ceiling grid in the cafeteria, as well as removing some flooring from some areas that will need to be remodeled and have new flooring put in. They also began the remodeling of the former Family and Consumer Sciences area just to the north of the main office. Also completed since last time we met is the interior framing. So that has been completely framed out. We also had the RTU delivered and installed. So this is not stock photo. It's actual photo of our actual RTU being put into place. We've also had our MEP systems installed above the ceiling. We've had the exterior doors, so if you drive by there now, we don't have the temp doors anymore. We have the actual exterior doors in place. Also, exterior brick has begun. So current activities, things we've started, is the exterior brick. Going back to completed activities, our drywall has been installed. So that's been in place, and we've begun painting that drywall. So here's a picture of one of the rooms that has been painted. So that is underway already. And then upcoming, we'll have ceiling installation. I believe that begins either later this week or next week. So I'll already be putting the ceiling in. And then before we get together, they will begin installing flooring in the new addition. Also want to point out that we did have a duct signing for current fourth graders, incoming fifth graders. You can see that Chris Weiss, our very own Chris Weiss, and Tyler Helker from C.G. Schmidt carried the ductwork over to each of our elementary schools. And of course, the question everyone's asking, especially our workers' comp carrier, is, did you lift with your legs? Yes, and to get to Kenny, we use the truck. Okay, even better, even better. So pictures of some of the kids signing at each of the elementaries and some group photos of that really awesome event to get them excited and be a part of the new addition at John Long Middle School. So taking a look at the schedule, that continues to stay the same as we track toward being ready in time for teachers to come in, get their room set up, and be ready for students on the first day of school. Our budget is continuing to track along with now we're expending more of our money. Now that we're well into the budget, you see each month that we're going to take a look at this. More and more of the budget is getting invoiced and spent, and so that continues to track along as it has the last couple of months. And then wanted to give everyone a reminder that before the board meeting next May 19th, we will be able to get a tour of the addition. So like I said, what's exciting is they're actually going to, by that time, have started installing flooring. And so you're going to get to see a lot of spaces looking very close to done. So excited to get everyone a chance to see that. And then we will have a very special construction update at the next board meeting where we'll bring our partners from C.G. Schmidt, Growth Design, and Huffman Keel here to give a full presentation of the construction update, which I think you'll appreciate with as many things as I will have on the agenda next month. So a little break from me. So just wanted to give that reminder to everybody so that they are aware of that opportunity before our board meeting, which is here, that over at John Long Middle School, will be able to check out the new addition. That is,
Yeah, we haven't set a time. I think we'll probably say 5, work with Steve on that. We'll figure out how much time they think to give you time to get back here, because we talked about having the meeting there and we decided to come back here. So we'll finalize that, but I would think 5:15 at the latest. Yep.
that concludes my construction update. Any questions?
Any questions for Topher?
It's hard to believe that it was just last year at this time, if our first meeting, in my notes from last year, we just passed the referendum, we started having a meeting with Growth Design. You know, we were talking about these plans and people asking, are you going to get it done in time, and all these different things. So I really speak so highly of Huffman Keel as our owner's rep, but Growth Design and C.G. Schmidt and the work that they've done to order things in advance to get things in so they can be installed, so we aren't using stock photos, but also the fact that we're not allowed to say we're ahead of schedule, but we're on schedule, and our budget is in a great spot. You know, so it's been a really great partnership with the three of them getting this project in place, and exciting for our community, and even the work they did over spring break. And at different times we've had breaks, Jamie's done a great job of working with them to be able to get in, because that remodeling piece will be the part that hits the ground running, that we have a timeline to go with. But the addition is in a really great spot, so really proud of that. And one final thing I'd like to do is give a shout out to the cast and crew for the GHS's production of The Wizard of Oz. We were able to go on Sunday, and just great to see our kids and their talents and the atmosphere there, and then a special recognition for all the seniors. That was their final production, so special shout out to them. So whether they were on stage, whether they be stage crew, or they were in the pit, appreciate all their efforts for the high school and making a successful performance. I know they were tired on Sunday, but we really do appreciate them, so great job. And with that, that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, we will move on to public comment. I did not receive any emails, so nothing was forwarded to me. I don't believe we have anybody here for public comment tonight. So we will go to C, personnel report.
Yes, we have some resignation and some new hires that we would ask for board approval, as well as a new position, and that's informational only. We have Rachel Baronic, school counselor, John Long Middle School, for resignation effective 6/30 of 2025. And then we have multiple new hires of Sarah Coyer, special education teacher, Kennedy Elementary School, Tara Daniels, 7th grade ELA teacher, John Long Middle School, Ashley Fisher, special education teacher, John Long Middle School, Kayla Groves, speech and language pathologist, John Long Middle School and Grafton High School, Allison Carpin, 6th grade ELA teacher, John Long Middle School, Catherine Ritter, speech language pathologist, Woodview Elementary School, and Joseph Teresi, social studies teacher at Grafton High School. And then a new position, Natalie Witt, is moving from 1st grade into the reading interventionist for Woodview and John Long Middle School. And then we have our resignations, informational only, of Brandon Art, special education aide from John Long, effective 3/18. Sherry Cornell, kindergarten aide at Kennedy Elementary School, effective 4/16. And retirement of Barb Fanner, still special education aide, Woodview Elementary School, effective 6/11 of 25.
Any questions on the personnel report as presented? Okay, so we'll do these in 3. Okay. So first, we will look for an approval for the resignation of Rachel Baronic, school counselor, John Long Middle School.
So moved.
Second?
First and a second, additional discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes. New hires, Sarah Core, special education teacher, Kennedy, Tara Daniels, 7th grade ELA teacher, John Long, Ellie Fisher, special education teacher, John Long, Michaela Groves, speech and language pathologist, John Long and Grafton High School, Allison Carpin, 6th grade ELA teacher, John Long, Catherine Ritter, speech and language pathologist, Woodview, and Joseph Teresi, social study teacher, Grafton High School. Do we have a motion for the new hires?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, additional discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes as well. new position. A motion to accept Natalie Witt, reading interventionist, Woodview, and John Long.
Oh, yeah. Second.
First and a second, additional discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that passes as well. So we look forward to our new hires, and we thank our people, Brandon and Sherry, and we wish Barb good luck in retirement.
Okay, there's a side note on the new hires, is 3 of them have connections to our district. So Sarah Coyer, going in alphabetical order, actually graduated from our high school and played for Coach Nada before he was board president. Allison Carpin has her mother-in-law that works in our district, and Catherine Ritter has her father sitting in this room, Rick Seibold, and placing her mother who's retiring. So some really great things that get people coming back that were in our district and wanting to come back and work in our district, which is cool as well.
Absolutely. All right. Next, there's some recommendations from the curriculum committee on April 7th.
Yes. Curriculum Committee met on April 7th, and we'll start with the textbook adoption. Yep.
Good evening. Yes, I'm here to share a little bit about a textbook adoptions that we talked about at the Curriculum Committee earlier this month. The district does have a textbook adoption process that's listed here, starting with the curriculum inventory and department prioritization. Then we meet with teacher teams, and they review at least 2 resources. That is then brought to the Curriculum Committee to be shared, and then for board approval at this meeting. After that board approval, we'll do curriculum planning and or professional development for the teachers, as well as follow-up meetings for year 1 and year 2 implementation. So the first textbook is for our new course, which is the AP US Government and Politics course that was approved in the fall. The team reviewing it was Ryan Brogelman and James Johnson. James came to the curriculum committee meeting and shared why they selected the MESCO, United States Government and Politics book. The rationale is listed there, but just so everyone's aware, it is aligned with the AP Classroom College Board website, and we anticipate that it will be continually updated every year. So this book will be for students to keep. We will be purchasing it with curriculum funds for the first year, and then after that it will be a course fee moving forward. This is benefits because the students can then also annotate and do practice assessments within the book. So that is the first recommendation. The second recommendation is HMH into Literature for grades 9 and 10. The entire Com Arts team reviewed 2 resources, and they liked HMH into Literature the best for our grades 9 and 10 honors and on-level course. Wendy Springer came to the curriculum committee meeting and talked about all the benefits for HMH. The cost is for 6 years, and that includes a writable for 1 year, which will replace Quill, and then also student workbooks, teacher manuals, and online access. The benefits for HMH is that is consistent with our John Long Middle School ELA curriculum. So we'll have consistency grades 6 through 10. The workbooks provide an opportunity for students to also annotate within the text. There are supplemental resources that they found valuable, as well as alignment to ELA state standards, pre-ACT prep, and ACT prep. The last recommendation is for Mathematic, which is Algebra 2 Honors course, as the main curriculum resource. So a little bit of a history about this. In November 2024, the math department did a site visit to observe CalcMedic as a potential curriculum resource for AP Pre-Calculus, which was a new course last year. In April of 2024, the curriculum committee reviewed it and recommended it as the primary resource for AP Pre-Calculus, and final approval was granted. During the committee meeting, it was also noted that the math department was exploring the use of Mathematic as a supplemental resource for Honors Algebra 2. This spring, it was brought to my attention that the Mathematic was being used as more of a primary resource than a supplementary resource in the Honors Algebra 2 course. Mike Bergman came to the April committee meeting to share all the benefits of using this resource as a primary resource instead of a supplementary resource, which includes providing the rigor and practice to the students so that they can be then successful in our AP Pre-Calculus class, since our Honors Algebra 2 class does feed into that course, It also has the same instructional strategies as illustrative math and uses the experience first and formalize later model. So it is a recommendation to accept that as the primary resource for Honors Algebra 2.
Thank you. So it is the recommendation from the committee to go ahead and approve these. The AP US government allows the current, like, every year, the new Supreme Court cases can get adapted in, which is really nice, so it's never out of date. And then for the literature, it's just nice because it actually gives us a formal curriculum and not just a homegrown curriculum, so it will give us something to have.
Okay. Any other comments or questions regarding the recommendations? Okay, we appreciate it when they came to the curriculum meeting to help present and give their reasoning behind this, so that was very helpful for preparing for today. So we have 3 recommendations. We'll take these each separately. So the first one would be a recommendation for the AMSCO United States Government and Politics.
So moved.
Second?
We have a first and a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes. The second one is a textbook recommendation for HMH into literature.
Yeah, either one. So,
Second.
We have first and second, additional discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes as well. Next, mathematic. So do we have a motion to adopt mathematic at Grafton High School for the Honors Algebra 2 course?
So moved?
second?
First and second, additional discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes as well. So thank you to the work of the curriculum committee for finding those new options. We also have some informational items from the April 7th meeting.
Yeah, they went over the Education for Employment Plan, which Greg Johnson, our school counselor, came and talked about it. It was informative, no real changes. We also went over the Student Code of Conduct. No real changes, but each of the schools was kind enough to come and present. The high school talking about how well the cell phone policy has gone. John Long Middle School went through their bullying policy, and Woodview and Kennedy presented together, and they're talking about progressive discipline, but really no real changes from previous years. We went over plans for Thursday's all-school testing, which was good. And yeah, that was pretty much it. We got updates on the AI task force, and we're doing a survey, testing, logistics, so all in all, very informative meeting.
Any additional comments? I just have one at the Hawks presentation on Thursday. You mentioned the cell phone policy. It was interesting to see some of the students actually have that as one of their highlights. It's something that helped them was that policy, that it helped them focus a little bit more in class. So seeing that from the student perspective was very, very interesting. So just wanted to share that. All right, nothing else for the curriculum committee. Thank you. Item F, notification of some technical corrections approved by the superintendent, 22 of them.
Yes, Neola update 34.1 has technical revisions, and per board policy, I'm able to make those corrections, but I need to inform the board at the next meeting. We'll be going over 34.1 at our May policy committee meeting, and Kara has all those copies for people that are interested in that tonight. But these are just technical corrections that Neola made that I'm alerting the board to.
So informational only on those. Any comments or questions? Okay. Item G, contract CISA 1 2526.
Yeah, I'm asking Ms. Mack to come up and talk to us a little about the CISA 1 services and the services we provide, as well as modification to the contract.
Good evening. Just a note on an amendment for our CISA 1 contract. We work closely with Ozaki Community High School as a valued partner for our students that may be credit deficient. But a testament to our high school team, they have worked diligently to meet the needs of all of our students. especially using the SSC and Wings program. So we don't anticipate the need for 3 seats going into next school year, so we would like to amend that to 2. And then the other services are some of our low incident services, orientation and mobility and vision, and that is dependent on student IEPs.
So we would ask for board approval for the CISA 1 contract, and we would send it back to them with the seats, instead of being 3, it would say 2.
And then that just adjusts. the
Which
cost.
it takes $16,000 off the cost, that's correct.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, I would look for a motion to approve the CISA 1 contract with the update of the 3 seats being reduced to 2 seats.
So moved.
Second.
First, second, additional discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes. Thank you. 24-25 third quarter budget report. Mr. Adams.
Yes, so the third quarter budget report, should look familiar, as we've been doing this for a number of years, taking a look at how our different budget pieces are doing compared to the prior year. Really only a couple things to report as they show up in this report would be in special ed, the purchase services. We do have subbing costs that are running higher than usual due to some extended leaves that we have in special ed where we've needed to, more than usual, use outside services to fill those roles. So that impacts the purchase services portion of Fund 27. And then this has kind of been on there all year for non-capital objects in Fund 27. Last year, we did have a substantial textbook purchase that occurred in the first quarter, which is why you'll see at this point, we had spent nearly all of the funds that we had spent in Fund 27 versus this year where we're lagging behind, if you will, compared to the budget. So the other piece that we're going to talk about tonight, and this is a new piece and will be included moving forward, is the employee benefits. So the employee benefits line for both Fund 10 and Fund 27 do include things like payroll benefits such as WRS contributions, Social Security, Medicare. It also includes our benefit insurances such as health insurance, dental, life, and long-term, as well as the cash in lieu, if so selected. What's different now that we're self-funded with our health insurance is we have to true up our actual claim activity at the end of the year. So what you see in here reported would be every time we run payroll, just like we've always done, we set aside funds to pay for health care costs, right? In the past, we were setting aside the employer contribution and the employee contribution to pay the premium bill that we would receive from the insurance company. And that could always be tracked, and it pretty matched up really well. So as we tracked this, as payroll booked those expenses, we could count on that being pretty accurate. Moving forward, we're setting aside those funds to pay claim activity, as well as some of the administrative costs and some of the other insurances that we have in health insurance. And so we have to track that as we hit the end of the year and then make an adjusting entry. As you recall, last year, we ended up having a little over $100,000 more in funding sources come in than actual expenses come in. So we recorded $106,000 in our fund balance related to self-insurance. This year, as we're tracking, we're having a more difficult year than last year. Or I should say difficult. Last year was really only 6 months of self-insurance. This calendar year, 2025, will be our first calendar year being mature, fully funded. That is, even in January and February, we have bills coming in based on activity in November and December. As you may recall, last January and February, those bills from November and December were still the responsibility of our fully insured company from the prior year. So again, this is our first year where we're mature, if you will, and having a full year, expecting a full year of claim activity to come in. So you can see that the first 6 months of the year, extremely challenging, deficits, and then as we've turned the corner in January, 2 of the 3 months, we've run surpluses of funding over expenditures. I'll talk a little bit about what those funding sources are and what those expenditures are. So when we look at the funding sources, 3 primary sources: payroll deductions, like I was talking about, right? We set aside every payroll. We have the district contribution and the employee contribution. That's set aside in payroll deductions. Then we also get stop-loss reimbursements. That is when an employee, or I shouldn't say an employee, anyone covered, employee or dependent, if their costs hit $80,000, anything beyond that is covered with stop-loss insurance. So those have, we did not receive anything last year, January through June, which is not a surprise because you've got to have people reach that point, right? And so beginning in July, we had those costs come in, and you can see that they've been coming in since then, even into the new year, as there is a lag, because like regular insurance, you have to incur the cost first, then submit a claim, and then get reimbursed for that. That's why you see, even as we hit January, February, March, we're still receiving stop-loss claims because of the processing of people hitting $80,000 and continuing to have claim activity even in later months of last calendar year. So that will typically, I believe, ramp up as we hit the end of the year and then start to go away or diminish as we head into the beginning of the year. Then we also have pharmacy rebates, and so those are given out quarterly. So those will hit us September, December, March, and we'll receive another one in June. Those are typically, they've been running about $80,000 to $90,000 each quarter, and so that's why you won't see a nice smooth amount each month, because you do have certain things that come in depending on the time of year, as well as depending on that once a month or that once a quarter payment for pharmacy rebates. In terms of expenses, the fixed costs such as our stop-loss insurance, our organ transplant insurance, the gene therapy insurance, as well as paying our TPA and other administrative costs, those are fairly fixed. That's why you don't see them change very much. You do see a slight uptick in January as the renewal did increase those costs somewhat, similar to how you see our payroll deductions going up as we increase those beginning January. So you see those pop up as well. What is, of course, very variable are our claim activity. So you can see a couple months, August and December, which had significant claim activity, and it's going to vary every month. We really can't predict for sure how it's going to play out. Now, typically, you will see slowdown getting into this time of year, where people begin the new year having to hit their deductible before the district starts paying those claims. There's, of course, lag, so some of the, going to see the doctor in December, we're going to see that claim activity hit us in January and February. But again, we should see that start to diminish somewhat before seeing it pick back up as people hit their deductible. So overall, as we're tracking where we're sitting for the year, each month we take this is essentially the cumulative running balance, if you will. We did hit a maximum of nearly $750,000 negative in terms of expenditures over funding sources. We have clawed our way back somewhat as we've hit the 2005 calendar year with increased contributions, and then also hitting part of the year where we can, not guaranteed, but can have diminished claim activity. So certainly, what we'd love to see is that continued clawing back of that deficit. But I would say even if we continue this trend, we are going to see expenditures eclipse our funding sources, which that will impact our fund balance related to health benefits. So at the end of the year, we would need to put in a journal entry because, again, we're recording those expenses as we run every payroll. But if we have a negative amount here, we have to record additional expenditures. Last year, we recorded additional revenue, and we built a reserve fund balance. This year, we're anticipating we'll have an increased expenditure adjustment at the end of the year, which will be somewhat buffered by that fund balance that we set aside, the reserve for self-funding. But I would still expect impact certainly to our ending year fund balance as it relates to health benefit costs. Any questions on that? This is something, again, that would be included with every quarterly report as we move forward. Also pointing out that at the May Finance meeting, Dan will be there to take a look. Now that we have a lot of data and we know what services are being used, what products are being used, Dan is certainly looking into what, what options we might have for finding ways to get those services, get those products at a less expensive price, more efficient spending, if you will, to try and lower those costs and get us back into a better spot.
What's in reserve?
We ended last year by putting $106,000 in our reserve fund balance.
And is that it? So the whole reserve fund balance is 106, or is that on top of anything?
106 was what we booked at the end of last fiscal year.
Any other comments or questions for Topher on the update? Look forward to Dan's presentation.
Yes, as we all do.
Okay. Thank you for the update. Informational only at this point. We'll have a meeting in May and then we'll get the next update at the next quarter. Okay. Gift report.
Yes, we have 3 donations that we would ask for board approval for. One from the Grafton Youth Girls Basketball Club with Brian Morgan as the contact person, of $375 donation towards the GHS fog machine. And then from the Grafton Stingers with contact people being Paul and Katie Marty, a donation towards the Grafton softball program of a varsity softball field scoreboard, removal and installation of the old one and installation of the new one, and the new electrical that's being run for a total of $12,213. And then as well, a donation towards our Enhancing Our Future, Phase 3, from Renee and Clayton Riddle in the amount of $600.
Any questions on the gift report? Seeing none, I look for a motion to approve the gift report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, that passes. We'll send a letter out and we appreciate the support of those. Item J, board meeting schedule. Due to Memorial Day holiday, our next meeting will be the 3rd Monday of May, so May 19th, as Topher had mentioned, and that will be here at the high school. That brings us to adjournment. The Board of Education will consider a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Section 1, subsection C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for the purpose of considering 1, final notice of non-renewal of teaching contracts, and 2, teacher contracts and employee compensation. Do we have a motion to go into closed?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. We'll take a voice vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, we are in closed.